Hey, how's everybody doing? Welcome to another Real Talk Tuesday session. I am Brittany Stevenson and I will be moderating tonight's conversation. I got my crew back with me. I have Miss Brianna Branch, Miss Miosha Crippen,
hello,
Reverend Brandon Gale, and Reverend Kenneth Watson. And we also have a very special guest with us tonight. We have Miss Karlissa Wise, who is the proprietor of Wise Counseling and Consultation, LLC. Hi, thank you so much for coming and being here with us tonight. Welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. So let's get right into it. Have you guys all heard about the Timothy Simpkins case? Okay, so for those of you who have not, Timothy Simpkins is an 18-year-old high school student who, unfortunately, a couple weeks ago, took a gun to school. And he ended up shooting, critically wounding one person. The other two were shot and were released. And then a teacher was injured in the scuffle. And it all boiled down to bullying. Apparently, Timothy was being bullied, and there was documented bullying on record of how, different students were harassing him and how people were making him feel and how he felt threatened. So he ended up, taking the gun to school and, doing what he did. And we're not excusing what he did, but it all boiled down to bullying. So, because October is National Bullying Prevention Month, that's what we're going to talk about tonight. Bullying. So what is bullying? Bullying, and I have my little write down, so I'm going to read this for you guys. Bullying is unwanted, aggressive behavior among school-age children that involves a real or perceived power imbalance. Bullying is also a repeated aggressive behavior where one person or a group of people in a position of power deliberately intimidates, abuses, or coerces individuals with intentions to hurt that person physically or emotionally. There are 4 types of bullying: physical bullying, such as kicking, pushing, hitting; verbal bullying, such as name-calling, yelling, screaming, and so on and so forth; relational bullying, such as exclusion or rumor spreading, which I didn't really realize that was a form of bullying. And then, of course, there's cyberbullying. And in 2021, we know that that's probably the biggest bullying type now. Mm-hmm. So let's get into it. Why do people bully? Miosha, why do people bully? I'm asking you. Why do people bully?
I think there's multiple reasons. I interned when I was in college in the social work program at a school, right? At a middle school. And there were so many kids in the CARES program, and bullying was the number one reason why they were down there. And I think it just all stems down to people have different reasons for why they treat people certain ways, right? So I don't know if it's people, if they feel like they want to show themselves or, show that they big and bad, and some people are insecure. And then just some people just want to make people feel bad. There's just so many different reasons, but it definitely happens all the time.
It does. Okay. Reverend Watson, why do people bully? I'm calling everybody out tonight. Why do people bully? I'm bullying y'all a little bit. Why do people bully?
I'd like to share in a similar thought as Sister Miosha. I'd like to think potentially some of it may deal with insecurities, your own insecurities. That may have something to do with it. Potentially also kind of just trying to follow the crowd, trying to fit in. Maybe some reasons as well. You don't want to be bullied, so you join in with the crowd and being a bullier.
Okay. Brianna, why do people bully?
I guess maybe it makes them feel good. I don't want to equate it to a problem, but when something's there's a problem and you solve it and you're like, whoa, I'm that person. I just did that. I wonder if maybe bullying gives them the same sort of rush of, I don't know, endorphins, hey, I just put that person down. That made me feel good. That's what's up. I'm gonna keep doing it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay. And last but not least, Reverend Gale, why do people bully?
I think that people bully sometimes because they see something that they like in a person, and they don't know how to express it.
Okay.
I think I'll say it like this. Like, sometimes, like when you're like in middle school and sometimes high school, you have, this is where I'm coming from, like, like a guy may like a girl and he doesn't know how to show her, so he'll pick on her. He'll do like, you know what I'm saying? He'll like pick on her and he doesn't really know that he's bullying her or making her feel bad. He's just interested in her and don't know how to. Right, he's trying to get her attention.
He don't know how to express himself.
And he don't know how to express. He don't know how to express himself.
Okay.
And so I look at it from I look at it from that. It's a form of communication, even though it's negative.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like a form of communication also, because sometimes people don't know how to control themselves or how to express themselves.
Okay.
And so they start to bully, sometimes just knowingly and unknowingly.
Right.
So I think, yeah.
Okay. And last but surely not least, Karlissa, your expertise opinion. Why do people bully?
Well, everyone on the panel, you all really gave really good answers, and all of them were reasons why people bully. If people feel powerless, they feel insecure, they don't know how to tell someone, or so even sometimes they're being bullied at home. So then they can't bully that person. You can't beat your father, you can't bully your mother back, you can't bully the other older sibling back. So you're gonna go and bully someone who is less dominant than you, or you see as less powerful than you are. So all of these are great reasons as to why people bully other people.
Okay, so cool. So my next question to everyone is, have any of you been bullied, or have you been a bully? So, I'm gonna start with you, Reverend, because I like that face you made. Have you been bullied, or have you been a bully? Tell on yourself. Speak your truth.
I'll be careful what I say. I was thinking about, like, I come from a different time than today, because growing up, it's like you were sometimes being bullied and sometimes you were bullied. And what I mean by that is because, we used to pick on each other and, say stuff about each other and what each other had on and all that kind of stuff. Now that is considered bullying. But see, back in the day, when we were in school, we were just
more teasing. Yeah, it was more teasing.
It was more so teasing then, but it was like, it wasn't nobody, getting, killed over it or taking it to the extreme that it's taken now. It didn't affect us the way it affects children and adults nowadays. We either threw hands or we came back with another shot, we said something else, or, we fired back at them. But now it has gotten to the point where, kids are and adults and the youth are it's really hurting them and they're doing, they're taking extreme measures. We didn't go home and get guns. We didn't do that. We didn't get knives and guns. We fought with these or we fought with this. And that's the way it was growing up. And so I'm from a different, that's the era I'm from. And so I think I was a little bit of a bully at times, and I think I got bullied at times, So, that's where I'm at.
Yo, Reverend Gale is not as old as he is acting. He needs to stop. But he's from a different time. He is
not old. No.
You think he was born in 1950? He was not at all.
I'm not old, but I still come from a different time,
I understand what you're saying. It was different. I think a lot of it, and I'm gonna jump in. I think a lot of it then, what was considered bullying now, was teasing. Like you said, someone come to school and they fall in the hallway. Everybody, ooh, he fell, she fell, and then it was over. But now people are, like you said, people are becoming really offended and hurt by it. So I don't know. I'm gonna jump to Reverend Watson. Have you been bullied, or have you been a bully, or have you been a little bit of both?
I would say possibly a little bit of both. Possibly.
Yeah.
I'm not sure what the distinction is, if there's a difference between teasing or bullying.
We can ask.
We can certainly ask that, right? Because often we can't determine or dictate how someone responds to our actions, right?
Right.
Just because somebody's not offended by it doesn't mean it's right.
Right.
And for years, when you look back within our culture, within our music, or within a lot of different things, we were doing things. We were exploiting women, exploiting people because of their race. We were saying things inappropriate to people that we never should have been saying, right? And in the moment, it was funny, right? But looking back on it, there was a lot of patterns of our behavior, of my behavior, that I'm not necessarily proud of, right? And I think all of us are kind of evolving and hopefully becoming more educated and more sensitive to the words that we say and the impact that it has on others. To finally answer your question, Sister Britt,
I'm gonna cut across the field.
I think right, because you said there were several different types of bullying, right? I think in the past, yes. When I was in school, when I was a kid, yes. Was I sometimes verbally a bully to others? Absolutely, right? Were people sometimes verbally a bully to me? Absolutely.
Right.
But back then we were like, man, we just thought that was normal and nothing was wrong with it. But looking back on it now, there was a lot of stuff that was wrong.
Yes.
We didn't have a word. I mean, we didn't call it bullying. I don't think it was
but it was.
I know, but it was happening, but it became a thing.
But it was. So, I mean, I'm not proud of it, right? Physically bullying, no, that's nothing that I ever did. And thankfully, I never had to experience physical bullying. Yeah.
Okay, so before I ask Mio and Brie, I want to ask Karlissa, is there a difference between what we're, because that raised a question, and I'm gonna add it. Is there a difference between just teasing and bullying, or is it one and the same in your opinion?
I think it depends. So for instance, if I have a rapport with one of you, but I don't have a rapport with the other, and you say something jokingly to me, I may take it differently from a person that I don't know. Okay. And it also depends on your intent as well. So what are your intentions behind it? Are you intending to just jokingly tease, or are you intending to bully and try to hurt someone? Right. So I think the distinction lies in intent and the rapport that you have with that individual.
Okay. So I see that. So like you said, sometimes amongst friends or amongst a group of people you were with, if you said something, it wasn't necessarily considered bullying because, like you said, of the rapport. But then if somebody randomly said it, like someone outside of your circle, so that's more of the bullying. Okay. So
it just depends on that person and how they take it.
Okay. So I guess that's why bullying, is so subjective, because you can't determine how someone is going to take something. I could say something totally harmless and 99 people think, oh, she's just being funny. But then that one person could be like, oh, MG, like that literally like crushed my life. So so it's just, I guess like what Reverend Wise said, we just have to really be mindful about it. Because a lot of stuff that we did, as Reverend Gail said, back in the day, was bullying. Yes. We were horrible.
Yes.
We were horrible. Okay, Brianna. Brianna's a little bit younger than us. She's a little bit younger than us. I'm telling her a little bit. So I'm Brianna. Have you been bullied or have you been a bully?
I feel like I can say I've been bullied. Not like anything like terrible, but there's always like the older kid in summer camp that thinks they can pick on like the younger kid, but we fix that right quick. I personally don't think I've ever been a bully, because if I don't like you, I'm not gonna deal with you, and you're not important to me. No offense, like, ooh, I'm sorry, that sounded so bad, but I don't have a reason. Like if I don't like you like that, like I'm not really going to mess with you all the time. Like what is that going to do for me? Nothing. Absolutely nothing. Like it doesn't help. So I don't think I've ever been a bully. But if we go off of like, how we're saying we don't know how people take things sometimes, I can be a little blunt. occasionally.
Yeah.
And so I could have said something to somebody and not meant it to like as in a bully way. I'm just telling you how it is. That's just the way it goes. And they could have seen it as bullying because it hurt their feelings or something like that. And so like, I mean, there's always that side of it. But like in my own eyes, I don't think I've ever bullied anybody. Not intentionally anyway.
Right. Okay. Yeah. Miosha, have you been bullied? Have you been a bully?
Well, I wouldn't say that I have been a bully, but somebody has actually called me a bully, but it was in my adult life. You know what I'm saying? Because when you get to a certain place in life, and especially being a Black woman, a lot of the times people take our passion for aggression, right? And then it's not always your fault that people don't know how to take you. You know, that's like a cultural thing that sometimes people have to deal with. So like Karlissa was saying, it's like how people take things sometimes. When you're passionate about, how you express yourself, sometimes people take that as aggression or as they're being bullied, especially if that's not their way and they don't know anything about it. And it's not necessarily something that I, was aware of. I'm just like, well, you're an adult, you have to deal with it. But as I grew up, I'm just like, okay, well, I'll just be more mindful of the way I say things to certain people. It's about, growing and I'm still growing in that area, but my patience, for adults, I'm just like, all right, let's go ahead, let's get this moving. But yeah, in my adult life, somebody has called me that, but I would not say that I was a bully. That's just the way that she took it.
I think and unfortunately, us being women of color, being Black women, people just automatically peg us as that a lot of times. You could I have a louder voice. I speak louder. Anybody that knows me knows I'm loud. They're like, Brittany's loud, but I'm not necessarily yelling at anyone, but someone could take that. I just can't hear out of my ear, so I'm loud. So it's like, I'm louder than that. But so, okay. Karlissa, if you want to share, have you been a bully? If you want to share with us, you don't have to, but I'm giving you the opportunity. Have you been bullied? Have you been a bully?
No, so because I'm very short and I have like a pipsqueak voice, so
we don't
people
say the word
have
short. We don't use the word short. We are fun size people.
Fun size, yes. So people do make comments sometimes, and I'll take it as a joke or say something back to them. And I generally know when I have to say something back to somebody, especially when people don't have boundaries.
Yes.
So that's when you definitely know for sure you have to stop it before it increases.
Okay. Yeah, I can see that. So I'm coming back to you with the next question, so that our viewers will know, because sometimes you can be part of the solution. So if what are some signs that a person is being bullied? Because sometimes people walk around with that cloak of I'm all right, but they're really not. So if if a friend or someone in school or someone at your job is being bullied, what are some things that we can look for to say, yeah, that person might need me to advocate for them or help them out or whatever? So what are some signs that a person is being bullied?
All right, so sometimes it's anger, especially when someone's being bullied. Usually the bully is someone in authority or a powerful figure, and that person can't say anything back to them. So of course they're going to get angry inside or sad inside. So when someone's angry all the time, that could be a sign. When someone's ostracized, they can be ostracized in school or at the workplace when they're alone all the time. When someone's sad or getting depressed, mood swings when someone feels ill, because a lot of times when we start to feel things emotionally, they start to manifest physically. So stomach aches, headaches. For children, they may not want to go to school, or they may want to take a different route to school. There are other things as well, becoming withdrawn when they're just experiencing any type of signs that they're being bullied. They have unexplained marks on their bodies, or just different things, or even when they don't, if asking them how their day is going and they don't want to tell you how their day is going, they don't want to talk about their feelings, or they're just overall withdrawing. Those are all signs that somebody may be being bullied.
Okay. Those are good examples to look for. So, how do we, as outsiders, how do you advocate for someone in a situation like that? How, like, you see that coworker, or as you know, some of our viewers that are in school, you see that person that's experiencing some of these things, or as a parent, you see your child that doesn't want to go to school, that used to love school. How do you help them? How do you do that?
So there's different things people can do. I know a lot of times people are saying, especially in the case that you discussed earlier, the parents have said that they had reported the bullying to the school and not much was done, but that is definitely a first step. If you feel like your child is being bullied, report it to the school. Try to have a meeting with the teacher, try to have a meeting with the principal, try to have a meeting with administrators. Even if you have to have a meeting with the child's parents and the child, try to do those things. I've even heard of a story where a parent felt like their child was being bullied so much that they actually talked to the school board and received permission for their child to go to a different school within the district. So sometimes it may cause for the child to be in a different environment. If there is something going on at the workplace, because adults can be bullied as well in the workplace. So it's always important to try to stand up for yourself and take the proper measures, or go through the proper channels to explain that injustice that you're experiencing and name it. And don't just sit back and watch it happen, but also name it. And so that maybe that person doesn't know that their behavior is deemed bullying. Sometimes you have to state that to them. And some people may be open to understanding that their behavior is bullying, and some people may not, but at least you try to talk about it and try to change it within the workplace so that you can go to a more positive workspace. Okay.
So does anyone have any other questions for Karlissa before I ask my last one? Anybody? No? Okay. So our last question is, okay, you've been bullied, or how do you recover from bullying? So, what are some ways to overcome that, those feelings and emotions as far as, and as far as children and adulthood? Because sometimes, and the reason why I'm asking this is because some people have said, the things about words hold so much power. Something that someone said to you years ago could still be tearing you up now in 2021. So how do we as adults recover from bullying that we may have experienced years ago? How do people recover from bullying?
Yes, so it's very important that once someone is bullied, because it can leave, like you said, emotional scars. Words can hurt. Even though we say that words, sticks and stones may break my bones, but words can never hurt me, it actually can. And they can leave a very traumatic effect on people. Have a very traumatic effect on people. So it's important to seek help through therapy and counseling, and try to increase or improve your self-esteem, your self-worth, your self-confidence through those therapy sessions. I'm sure the counselor or therapist will give you that individual homework to do as well, to try to also improve on that when they're home and outside of sessions. Use your support system, your parents, your friends, people that actually do love and care about you. That's a good thing to do as well, to try to get over the trauma that you've experienced. And overall, just being patient with your growth, because it takes time. Things that people have said to you years ago may still affect you today. And so some people may judge themselves or be hard on themselves and wonder, why can't I just get over this? But it's very normal. And it's important to normalize those feelings for people when they're expressing it and letting you know that it's hurting me. And it's just important to just be that listening ear for them.
Okay. I want to thank you so much for being here with us tonight. Thank you so much for giving us all the tips and the advice about bullying. We hope that anyone that's watching this has helped you, and if you're dealing with bullying, we're hoping that you are doing what you need to do to recover from it. If you are a bully, stop bullying people, because it does have an effect on them. So I did think of a quick fire question, and it's kind of related to something that's going on in the news today, and you guys feel free to chime in. So everybody knows who Dave Chappelle is, right? We all know Dave Chappelle. We all know what's going on with Dave Chappelle. So is Dave Chappelle bullying? This is, in a way, I think it's kind of related to it. So Should Dave? Are we supposed to cancel Dave Chappelle? Yes or no? Are we canceling Dave Chappelle?
No.
Are we canceling Dave Chappelle? Reverend Watson, are we canceling Dave Chappelle, Brianna?
Does anybody want to kind of give perspective in reference to what's going on with Dave Chappelle?
Dave Chappelle has a show on Netflix, has a series on Netflix, or something on Netflix, wherever you want to call it.
Stand up on Netflix. Right?
A stand up on Netflix, and he made some comments. I don't want to really get into what the comments were because I don't want to offend anybody. But he made some comments that some are saying will be considered bullying. They're ready to cancel him. They want Netflix to pull him. Netflix is not pulling him. They are standing behind him 100%. But there are some people who find what he said. If you want, take the time. If you have Netflix, take the time to look at it. And if you don't have Netflix, it's on YouTube. It's everywhere. Is what he said deemed bullying? I mean, I believe everybody here has seen it or saw some of it. So, in your opinion, are we canceling Dave Chappelle? Is he wrong? Is he are we canceling?
Answer your question. I am not canceling Dave Chappelle. And if you watch his stand-up, he explains it. Why he says what he says, how he feels the way he feels, and it's not anything new. In comedy, we go back to Richard Pryor if you wanted to, but in comedy or with Dave Chappelle. So it's freedom of speech. It's how he feels. Are we canceling him? Absolutely not.
Reverend Gail, are you canceling Dave Chappelle?
No, I would not cancel Dave Chappelle because, like you said, it's comedy, but 90% or 95% of comedy is opinion, and there's some truth. So, I mean, I think that he gets his opinion. Everybody's entitled to an opinion. Will your opinion offend some people? Yes. But it doesn't mean that you should cancel somebody or mess up somebody's livelihood because you don't agree with what they said. Mm-hmm. If you don't agree with what they said, don't watch it. And that's just the way I feel about it. It's his opinion. That's how he feels. You don't have to like it, but if you don't like it, don't watch it. Period. Simple as that. I mean, everybody's entitled to their opinion, no matter who you are.
Karlissa, I'm gonna save you for last because that way you can decide if you want to answer our question or not. Because we do quick fire questions just to end on a high note. But this one is kind of related to bullying. So Brianna, are we canceling Dave Chappelle or not?
Okay, so first, is canceling not just another form of bullying? Do we think? Because if you're upset about something you think somebody was bullying something for, why is the response to go back and bully them? Because then that doesn't make sense to me. Yeah, and then I think it's
at people to raise. You'd have to go down the line. You just can't pick one particular group and say, "Oh, we're canceling you because of this."
Yeah.
People talk about Asians, they talk about blacks, they talk about fat people, they talk about poor people.
They definitely talk about.
If that's the case, you need to pull the line out. You know what I'm saying?
I feel like something that we brought up this whole conversation is that you can say what you're gonna say, and you might not mean it a certain way. It just all depends on how people take it. And I do get it, your words can hurt people sometimes, but where do you draw the line between you sharing what you think and the way that it's affecting someone? Because in that case, should we never talk?
That was what I was alluding to.
Because I'm we're not always gonna agree, and if you don't like what I say and it hurts your feelings, it's not because I'm trying to hurt your feelings. I just said it could be something as simple as I don't like the color purple, and they'll be like, well, my mom's favorite color was purple, and when I was young we used to do that, and I didn't mean that. I just told you I don't like that color. Why are you mad? You're sensitive. I feel like it's very hard to draw a line and establish what's what nowadays. So I don't think you need to be canceled, but maybe they could be I understand this is your opinion. The way you delivered it was not the best, I guess.
Okay.
I don't know. I feel like if you can explain maybe why it hurt your feelings. Like, you know, not like you don't have to cancel the man, but like I don't believe in canceling. So no, I don't think he should be canceled. I think canceling's stupid.
Okay.
So.
Reverend Watson, your eyes have been moving everywhere. I'm asking you.
We know he has.
I know you guys something to say, Reverend Watson.
What is it?
As somebody who loves comedy, I know you. I think you like Dave Chappelle, right? He's somebody that you.
I do.
So are we canceling Dave?
I'm not counseling Dave Chappelle. It's interesting, this term cancel culture and how it has kind of just emerged, right?
Yes.
Over the last several years, in which if you say anything, right, you're gonna have a third of the people who potentially agree with what you say, a third of the people who disagree, and then the other third is maybe not going to have opinion either way. I think we have to be careful about the word cancel, right? I think you have to give people room to grow. We all make mistakes. We all make missteps. We often all say things that we're often not proud of. There's always times where we can say things differently to people. I'm a huge fan of Dave Chappelle. Comedy is an art.
Yes.
Oftentimes things that you say could be taken another way. In reference to this specific situation, not to get too specific.
No,
but I don't question his intent. I don't think he had malice in reference to the words that he said. That's just my opinion. Because of the group that he offended, some would say that he's an advocate for that group. He speaks when he's speaking on the subject. He speaks to how he had befriended a member of this of the community that is kind of coming up against him. And what's interesting is Brianna mentioned the point. Oftentimes, people think Dave Chappelle was bullying them, but then they become the bully, right? And we never have a conversation.
Right.
It just turns into words and actions, just thrown against the other people, right? And in a culture of cancel. I think Dave Chappelle was trying to and of course he was trying to make everybody laugh, right? We can't accept that. I mean, that was the ultimate goal, to make laugh.
He's a comedian.
Right. But I think he was trying to bring awareness in conversation.
Right.
He did a good job of it too.
And I think he did that. Now the ball is now in our court as a society. And do we continue to just bully each other and ignore what each other is saying, or do we take the time to really listen?
Have a conversation.
Right, and try to have empathy for one another, right? Because that's lost in the whole thing. Nobody has empathy. Nobody empathizes with how a group is, what a group has to deal with. So I'm not canceling them. I like the special.
I knew you would.
Often, the only thing that makes us grow is being put in uncomfortable situations.
Absolutely.
So, I think us being uncomfortable is the perfect opportunity for us to try to achieve some growth.
Okay. Last but again, not least, Karlissa. You don't have to answer if you don't want to, but like I said, we do quick fire just to, bring a little light to some things. So, are you canceling Dave Chappelle? Do you think that what he said was bullying, or are you, what is your opinion?
I can see why it would be perceived that way. I'm Dave Chappelle. I'm not a fan of his comedy. I think he goes he pushes the envelope too much for me. I respect his right to say the things that he says. I feel like we're at a point where nobody wants to listen to one another just because someone has a differing opinion. then they should be a different opinion, then they should be canceled. I think cancel culture is toxic. And I think it will, in the future, people will see how detrimental it is. I don't think he should be canceled. I think in what he was saying, because I did watch it, I did see the bigger picture through the jokes. I did see the bigger picture that we just all need to sit down and talk to one another. Because at the end of the day, he was basically stating, and I could be wrong, but we've all been ostracized or felt powerless in the different groups that we represent. And so we need to come together because we're more alike than different.
Right.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. I mean, I think especially all of us on this live, we can definitely agree that we're all a part of at least one group that's been ostracized. Hello. So I mean, I want to share something with you guys before we close out. And this is actually a quote by Dave Chappelle. Dave said that our culture has accepted two huge lies. The first is that you disagree with someone's lifestyle, you must fear or hate them. And the second is that to love someone means to agree with everything they believe, say, or do. Both are nonsense. You don't have to compromise convictions to be compassionate. And that's from Dave Chappelle. So I think that, just to give my opinion on it, I like that, I like comedy. I mean, I'm not a diehard like Dave Chappelle fan, no shade to him, but I'm not canceling Dave Chappelle. I don't think what he said was bullying. I think what he said was true. Like, if you go back and watch it, any of those who haven't, I think what he said was accurate. And then this kind of what I just quoted, kind of solidified, because that's kind of the situation it is. It's like you almost can't disagree with somebody. And then, it's like if you disagree, you're this or you're that, when really I just, like Brianna gave the example, I just might not like the color purple. I don't think there's anything wrong with it. It's a pretty color, it's just not my vibe, right? So right. I think that that's my opinion on the matter. So I want to take the time to thank each and every one of you for sharing your personal thoughts and opinions, and I definitely want to take the time to thank Karlissa for sharing her expertise. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. Hopefully we get to, chat with you in the future. Guys, say no to bullying. Everyone spread love, peace, and joy. Until next time, deuces.
Bye, y'all.
Bye.